Welcome to the eCommerce podcast with Matt Edmondson, a show that brings you regular interviews, tips, and tools for building your business online.
Hi and welcome to the eCommerce podcast with me, your host, Matt Edmondson. All of this week's notes and links can be found on our website at ecommercepodcast.net/95. So you want to learn how to use YouTube videos to grow your e-commerce brand and increase your sales. Here's something a lot of people don't think about when it comes to their e-commerce businesses, and that's YouTube videos. Many of us think that just because we have a website or an online store, we don't need to do the whole video thing. But the truth is very different, and using videos can help you grow your brand and increase your sales. So in today's show, Augie Johnston is going to show us how to do just that. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere.
Hey there, are you a business owner? Here at Aurion Digital, we know firsthand that running an e-commerce business can be really hard work. As the online space gets more competitive, it is becoming even more challenging to stay ahead of the curve. We totally get it. So we want to help you succeed by offering a wide range of services, from fulfillment, marketing, customer service, and even coaching and consulting, just so that you can do what matters most. Save yourself the time and the money and let us handle the day-to-day tasks. This way, you can run your business without having to worry about the boring stuff. So what do you say? Are we a good fit for each other? Come check us out at auriondigital.com and let us know what you think.
Thanks for joining us on the e-commerce podcast. It is great that you are here. Yes, it is. Whether you are just starting out or whether, like me, you've been around for a while. Our goal on this show is to help you grow your e-commerce and digital businesses. In effect, to deliver e-commerce wow. And to do that, every week we bring you great show sponsors who are going to help you. And we also bring you amazing guests, experts in their fields with their own sort of stories and insights and ideas and principles and thoughts and a little bit of magic that we can use to help us start, adapt, and grow online. Now, Augie is an awesome guy who loves making videos. He's a former professional basketball player, which is not your usual route to making videos, but he is currently an entrepreneur who is, well, just doing that. He's shaking up the video editing industry with his startup called Vidchops. Now, Augie is a YouTube expert who works with full-time YouTubers, online personalities, thought leaders, and anyone that creates online videos. And he is super passionate about helping people create more and better videos for their businesses. So you're going to want to grab your notebooks. You are going to want to pay attention because he is about to drop a huge value bomb. Yes, he is. He's going to give us a whole bunch of stuff that we can use on our own e-commerce businesses. So without further ado, let's get into my conversation with Augie Johnston. So Augie, thank you for joining me. Great that you are here. I'm super thrilled to be talking about YouTube and e-commerce. For me, it's one of those power duos that doesn't get talked about an awful lot. But before we get into that, whereabouts in the world are you, good sir?
Yeah, I'm in California. I'm in a small town called Atascadero, which is about 4 hours north of LA, 4 hours south of San Francisco.
Wow. Okay. So very different climate to ours, and the little cactus light behind you. Is there a story there?
No story. Just I definitely dig neon lights and stuff like that. I have probably way too many of them, and I bought a ton and ended up using one, and this is the one I like.
Fair enough. Yeah. For those of you who are listening, you won't be able to see it, but behind Augie is a green cactus neon light, which is very, very cool. And I'm with you. You can never have enough neon lights. I'm a child of the 80s. And so, it's kind of like It's my home is neon lights. And Augie, what do you do for a day job? What's the thing that keeps you busy 9 to 5?
Yeah, I actually am a computer science teacher. So I teach computer science. I run Vidchops, and which is a video editing service. And I'm also a basketball coach. So I stay busy. And I coach here in my hometown of Atascadero, and I coach for the same school I went to.
Oh, wow. And so you must obviously enjoy basketball to coach it. It's quite an interesting thing. The amount of e-commerce, let's stick digital. The amount of digital entrepreneurs that I know who do something which is very physical as a hobby. Do you know what I mean? That's not digital. That's kind of like, you've got a basketball. I've got to get it from one end of court to the other. There's no computer involved with that, right? Maybe keeping the score, but that's about it. I don't know if you find the same thing, that actually there's something about physical things, that you can touch and feel, which is just the complete opposite of digital, but is quite nice.
Yeah, and to me, I draw the relationship to the competition part, right? Like everyone, if you like to compete, if you like competition, then online business and business in general, right? That's the sport that kind of never takes a day off. So I think that's where I kind of get it from, is I like the competition side of business.
Yeah, very good. Very good. And so you've gone from the basketball floor to YouTube. And how did you get into it? How did you get into the whole YouTube thing? Was it through the basketball coaching? Did you just start doing videos of that and it sort of took off?
Yeah, kind of. My story, after college, I played college basketball for a small school, and then I went and played in Europe. While I was in Europe, I had like so much free time and I had gym access. So I was playing basketball over there. I wasn't making a ton of money. I was in Germany, where, football or soccer, right, is the most popular sport. So basketball, wasn't making a ton of money. I wanted a second income, and I started to look for, how to build an e-commerce business online. And I built a website, didn't get any traffic. So I was like, how do I get traffic? How do I get traffic to my website? And I ran across like a post in the Warrior Forum, which is an old school digital marketing forum called the Warrior Forum. You should Google it. And so I was in there all day, just wasting too much time, and ran across someone that said, hey, YouTube will get you some traffic. So I did start creating basketball training videos on YouTube. And that's where I really just became obsessed with YouTube, honestly. I was living in Germany. The TV was in German, right? The TV, I couldn't watch TV. So I was watching and this is back in 2009 when YouTube was just starting. And there was not a ton of great content out there at that time. Although there was, and I was watching YouTube, and then I started creating videos.
So, and that was back in 2009, which is 13 odd years ago. In the infancy of YouTube. What was it about YouTube, apart from the English language, obviously, but what was it about YouTube that kind of drew you in?
Well, I had, in college, I had gotten a camera. I can't remember the name of it. It was one of those, it was like, had a little thing that flipped out on the side. It was a USB port. You could just plug it in. It was not a great camera, like a GoPro of some sort. And I had made a couple of dunk videos for my friends where they are dunking, not me. I was the guy shooting threes, not jumping too high. But in filming those videos, I learned to edit them. And so when it came time, I had that same camera when I was in Europe. I was filming my adventure out there, and like I said, gym time. So I just started recording my workouts, posting them, and then eventually I took them all down and just continued to learn and started over again, basically with this new, more YouTube friendly format. This was years later, but I just that's when I kind of just got into the online world. Honestly, I that was not the only little project I had going. There was other little projects I was doing online, all centered around basketball, and just kind of learning the game back then.
Yeah. And what's interesting to me is you took a hobby like basketball and you figured out how to make it create an income for you online, which I think is quite a nice way of doing it. So that was 2009. Fast forward 13 years. You're still obviously heavily involved in YouTube. You've got Vidchops, and you're kind of involved in that. I guess the first question that will be on a lot of people's lips, certainly those that don't really do anything on YouTube, is is it too late? You started 13 years ago. You've built up your audience. You've built up your reputation. Is it too late to start in 2002? Where is YouTube, I guess, oversaturated?
No, it's not too late at all. And I can think of a bunch of examples. Like you said, I am into the YouTube game nowadays still. And so I'm in all the Facebook groups, the forums. I do look around. I do continue to learn, right? The other day I spent $500 on a course, and I've been in the YouTube game forever, just trying to stay up to date with the algorithm and everything. And people are making it happen all the time. I mean, there's examples of people getting almost, even up to 1 million subscribers in the first year. Now, are they outliers? Yes. Mm-hmm. But I would say the difference between back then and now is that now you do have to understand how YouTube works. You do have to understand the algorithm. You do have to understand how to make it on YouTube. When back then it was definitely easier. And in a much different algorithm too. So, I mean, in 2009, here's an example. One of the other ways that I made some money, actually the first way that I even made my first dollar online, and I'm not really proud of this, but it's kind of a funny story, is I would rank videos on YouTube for search terms like watch the Olympics online for free, watch watch some TV show online for free. And I was ranking basically spam videos. Like I said, kind of embarrassing story, but, and then I would just redirect them. I'd send the traffic off and I'd say, hey, if you want to watch it, go over to this website. But I was redirecting to CPA offers, which are cost per acquisition offers, which back in the day, these CPA networks were big. It's basically businesses who say, hey, we want leads. We want to capture email addresses. We'll pay you $1 for every email we capture, or whatever, free teeth whitening kits, stuff like that. And I was sending the traffic off and making, about $1,000 or so a month doing that until YouTube changed the algorithm. The game started to change. Those videos won't even upload nowadays on there. So, and I'm happy for that. So anyways, yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? How much it's changed. So let's bring this back to the world of e-commerce, right? We were talking before we started recording. When we use the word e-commerce, it can mean such a massive range of companies, from companies which sell products, traditional products online or on Amazon on their own website. Someone might sell digital products like a course. There's a whole range of things that come under the banner of e-commerce. But let's say I run a e-commerce business that sells product. That's predominantly what I do. I get my traffic from Facebook marketing and from my Google ad spend. Should I think, for example, about YouTube as part of my marketing arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, at the minimum level, I would say there's ad opportunities there, right? And that's at like the most no-brainer answer, because YouTube targeting is very interesting. It's a little bit different, right? You can target on ads specifically to a video, right? A specific video. Okay. So it's pretty easy to say, oh, I know that my buyers are watching this type of content, or I know that my buyers subscribe to this channel. Okay, well, now show your ad in front of every single video on that channel when people watch it. Like you can kind of tailor it that way. And then also number two, what are, you said it's Google, running ads on Google. I don't know if that's Google search or not, but if it is Google search, YouTube search, right? So you can go after keywords as well. And so there's that. Okay. I really like the targeting on YouTube because, for me, like, for example, Vidchops, right, is a video editing service. It's really hard. And when we want to target, people who create YouTube content, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really hard on Facebook for us to do that, compared to YouTube. When on YouTube, I can say, oh, well, look, here's this guy. He teaches people how to get more views, how to get more subscribers on YouTube. His target audience, the people that are subscribing to his channel, are YouTubers who want to learn how to get more views. So we can just throw ads in front of those videos. So anyways, yeah, there's my rant on that. But as far as what you really want to hear, the answer you really are curious about is organically, right? Is it a good idea to create content for a physical business or physical product business? And I would say, yeah, there's multiple ways to go about it. Okay. One way would be more towards your personal brand, right? So there's always an opportunity to be the physical product e-commerce guy on YouTube. And the reason that I would say you could build your personal brand, your authority in that world right there to be the leading expert in e-commerce, physical products, is because you have experience, you have a case study, you have something to talk about. So maybe you don't want to reveal your niche or your product, because I know with a lot of physical products, people don't reveal niches, but you could still report on the projects you're running, the tests you're running. And to me, somebody who is in e-commerce, I love that stuff. I eat that stuff up. Yeah. If someone's going to share information about their business that they're running, like I want to know the numbers. I want to know as much as I can, not just you coaching, but showing the back end of the business. So there's the personal brand. As far as actually getting people to buy your products from YouTube, that's more challenging. I would say you really would have to get into the viewer persona or the target dream client or dream customer and say, what are they searching on YouTube? What is my dream customer searching on YouTube? Who are they following? Once you figure out who they're following, then you just become that person. You just start releasing content on that subject. So that's my take.
That's really fascinating. You make it sound so easy, Augie, and and we're going to get into. I mean, we've got time, so we're going to get into this. You know, you've made a few comments like YouTube friendly formats and understand how the YouTube algorithm works, and you know, just put some videos out there showing this, and it just kind of rolls off the tongue because you've done it 1,000 times. So we're going to get into all of that, but fundamentally, is it as easy as you make it sound? Right. So I know you've been in the industry a while. I guess if I don't know anything, is it easy to learn about it, or is this complex?
Yeah, it's complex. If I was to tell you it's easy, I'd be lying. I mean, what's old school content marketing online? What is it? It's as far as organic, right? It's blog posts. I would take writing a blog post, and I don't even like to write, over creating videos because right, you have to be on camera. You have to be the one. And there's just so many small details as far as just getting the video created. Not even like ranking it or you know, YouTube or algorithm, but just getting the video recorded and created. You know, there's a lot of things. Lighting, audio, what you're gonna say, your camera presence, you know, scripting it, you know, getting it all. What are you gonna say? How are you going to say it? So that's just getting the video done. And then there's the editing. And then, you know, and then when it comes to YouTube, you need a thumbnail, title, tag, description. You need a lot of little details. So you got to know best practices, right? So, you know, I just said a lot of things there. Lighting, audio. Well, it's two-sided, right? So do you need the most expensive camera and everything and all that kind of stuff? No, like your iPhone will do. Like, we have a client who gets like over 1 to 2 million views a month, and she records on her iPhone, and she's really grown. And her kind of superpower in this video creation world is that she doesn't overcomplicate it, and she pumps out 20 videos a month, right? Wow. So, right, yeah, and she's an expert. She's a dermatologist, a doctor, skin doctor, and she knows her stuff, and she can get a topic and probably write 3 bullet points and then create a 10-minute video. So she's gotten good. But yeah, it's not easy, but here's what I'll say. You're creating a YouTube video. You're not creating a documentary. You're not creating a feature film. So the main goal is to get it done and get it up online. So the first 2 to 3 are going to be hard. After that, just document and create and recognize that you have a process and you need to follow your process and go through it. Step A, B, C, 3, and you'll get better, you know, and video 20 is going to be better than video 1.
That's so true. I've said this to people a lot, actually. Just go up, just whack a load of content on YouTube. Don't worry about it. Just get used to being on camera and just realize the first 10, 15 videos you do are going to be rubbish. And as long as you get your head around the fact they're going to be rubbish and I can always delete them later, they're a learning experience. Actually, for me, that was actually quite releasing, if I'm honest with you, because it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to get on and do it. And I don't know how many videos I've now done. We're talking thousands, probably. I think my experience now is very, very different, and I understand. But I needed that permission to screw up at the start. Do you know what I mean? That it didn't have to be perfect. My wife is funny when it comes to video, because she's like, well, as soon as I do video, it's out there. It's permanently out there. And a brain runs at 1,000 miles an hour at all the different possibilities as to what that means. And I'm like, yeah, but chances of one person watching this are quite slim, babe. So maybe just, let's just reel it in a little bit and see where it goes and just learn our craft. I don't know, Augie, and you can tell me, am I giving people good advice there, or am I giving people really stupid advice?
No, that is great advice. Just get, like I said, getting it up and getting it online and getting it going is good. The algorithm and all that kind of stuff, that's for people that are already past that stage, right? You're past the whole, you can record 20 videos in a month, or you have the ability to go and knock out a couple of videos. But when you do get to that stage, then yeah, you need to make sure that you do understand how thumbnails, do help with the algorithm, how a clickable title, and, just what watch time is. So just, to sum it all up, to me, the two main factors to succeeding on YouTube is click-through rate. So that's your thumbnail and title, right? When that pops up on the recommended, on the homepage, on the suggested, in the search, when that pops up, are people clicking on it? Because if no one's clicking on it, then that tells YouTube that it's not really a great video topic, that people aren't interested in it, And then the second part is watch time. And that's are people watching your videos all the way through, or are they clicking off? And that's really just the YouTube algorithm summed up right there. But I mean, that's almost enough for a beginner to say, okay, I'm struggling with my videos, but I am going to keep watch time in mind when I record this. I'm not just going to jump into it and tell a 30-minute story to start it off. You got to hook them in, right? The first line's a hook. And then also, take care of the thumbnail.
Yeah. And interestingly, the thumbnail and title aren't even a video. Right. So half your metrics aren't actually video. The watch time obviously is, but the first bit is not. It's a still. It's a thumbnail. It's a static image. I've got before we get into the nitty gritty of this a little bit more, for those that want to get a bit more advanced on some of this sort of stuff, I have a theory that I wanted to run past you and see what you thought as someone who's an expert in this whole thing. I have found, right, if I sit in front of a video camera, I can create videos. It's not a problem. If I sit down and talk to somebody like you and I are talking, well, video creation becomes actually an awful lot easier, because I'm recording a conversation, and it's much more, I find it's a lot easier to do. And we whack the video out with the podcast. One of the things that I'm intrigued about is live streaming and the power of live streaming for e-commerce. And one of the things that I'm noticing more and more are brands that live stream for like an hour or two every day on their website. So they pick the busy period. So let's say the website's busy between 6 o'clock at night and 8 o'clock at night. So what they do is they go, right, I'm just going to live stream to YouTube. I'm going to embed that on the website. So if you come to the website, I'm going to go, hey, how you doing? You got any questions? Let me know. I'm live now. And so if someone's browsing on the website, they can ask a question about a product, which the person live streaming can go, well, let me tell you about that. And this is how that works. And I'm seeing this sort of slowly start to creep in a little bit more now, this whole sort of live streaming to e-commerce. Have you had any experience with this, or got any thoughts on this as an idea?
That's the first time I've heard it used in that way, where you embed it on the website. But that to me, seems like a really good strategy. Because I mean, especially if you're like running some paid ads and you know that they're really pumping, you're spending money on your paid ads. Well, sitting there live on the website is like somebody walking into your store and you saying, hey, how's it going? So, wow, that's pretty cool. As far as live streams go, though, I mean, yeah, live streams are a great way to create content. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, I think, because you've got to be on. But yeah, you can take that content, you can repurpose it, right? You can change the format, resize it. You can cut off the best 10 minutes, throw it on YouTube, make a couple 60-second clips. But the idea of selling through live video, yeah, I mean, it's a great idea. You can do any kind of instant flash sales. The hard thing with that, though, is you need the eyeballs, right? First, you must build the audience before you start going live and selling to your audience. But yeah, I think that's a great way to use social media almost as like a webinar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really interesting idea, and I think it's one of those things which I'm not, one for predicting the future, but I do wonder how much we're going to see this now. The technology is enabling us to do it, because, like you say, it's just walking in, and it's like you're walking on. Do you know what I mean? It's like watching QVC, but you can talk to the person on the phone, and oh yeah, let me show you how that works. Like walking into a store online. And I think it's a really interesting idea, and definitely one to watch. Listen, Augie, let's not go anywhere. We're just going to take a moment to listen to this week's show sponsors. We've got some great sponsors for this week's show, so do listen up, pay attention to what they've got to offer, and then I'll be back in just a few minutes with Augie, carrying on our conversation about all things YouTube and e-commerce.
Did you know that nutrition is one of the keys to maintaining the energy you need to drive your business forward? Vegetology creates incredible, unique supplements in an eco-friendly, ethical, and sustainable way that feed your body with the precise nutrients it needs. We're not just making you healthier, we're helping to protect our planet too. Our products are vegan-friendly and approved by the Vegan and Vegetarian Society. Plus, they're gluten-free, so they fit perfectly into any lifestyle. They also contain no artificial colours or flavours, making them good for your taste buds too. You can feel good about your food choices with our healthy, natural supplements. We have something for everyone, whether you want to boost your immune system or just get more energy every day. And we're always working on new ingredients so that we can provide even better products in the future. So what are you waiting for? Get started now by heading over to vegetology.com.
Hey there, are you a business owner? Here at Aurion Digital, we know firsthand that running an e-commerce business can be really hard work. As the online space gets more competitive, it is becoming even more challenging to stay ahead of the curve. We totally get it. So we want to help you succeed by offering a wide range of services, from fulfillment, marketing, customer service, and even coaching and consulting, just so that you can do what matters most. Save yourself the time and the money and let us handle the day-to-day tasks. This way, you can run your business without having to worry about the boring stuff. So what do you say? Are we a good fit for each other? Come check us out at auriondigital.com and let us know what you think.
Okay, so I'm back here with Augie talking about YouTube, and we got into some sort of general, just sort of headlines before we heard from the fab sponsors there, Augie. So let's start to dive into the nitty gritty a little bit. You've mentioned a couple of times about understanding the YouTube algorithm. What does that mean, and why is that important?
Yeah, because YouTube is, first of all, a search platform, right? So it's the second largest search engine. So you do want to rank on YouTube. But YouTube is also a discovery platform as well. It'll actually literally promote you if you give it what it wants, right? And what does it want? What does the YouTube algorithm and YouTube want? Well, it wants to make its bottom line, make its investors happy. How does it do that? Ads. So YouTube needs users to watch ads. They need to watch a lot of ads. So they are going to promote videos that do that. And what kind of videos do that? And what kind of creators do that? Well, if I create videos and somebody comes to my channel and they end up watching 10 videos, then they've watched 10 ads. So there's one small piece of the algorithm, binge watching. If you can get people to binge watch your videos, then that'll help feed the algorithm. And what I mean by discovery is, if you land on YouTube, if you go to YouTube's website, that's the homepage, right? So they're going to promote a bunch of videos to you. It's the algorithm that's promoting those videos to you and choosing which videos show there. And as soon as you see one you like and you click on it, that gives the YouTube algorithm some data that, look, every single time in the past week you visited YouTube and you clicked on one of these videos, you watched, 4 videos of theirs, and then you left. That's going to say, all right, great. Look, next time you come, you click on a different video and then you just leave immediately and don't watch anything. You watch 10 seconds and you leave. That, you think YouTube's going to promote that video anymore? No, probably not as much. Maybe not to you and the type of videos you're into. So So let's talk about what you can do as a creator, right? So we already talked about click-through rate, title, thumbnail, but it kind of starts a little bit before that, and it starts with the topic, right? So if you're thinking about just these topics, forget thumbnail, forget title. Here's an example. I went to get a haircut. Okay, there's a video topic, and I'm going to film it. Here's the second one. I went to get a haircut from the world's worst barber. Which one is a little bit more interesting of a topic? The one from the world's worst barber. Okay, so think about how your video topics can just be more entertaining in general, right? And then the second thing would be the title, the thumbnail, getting that click. So click-through rates, you're looking for over 10% click-through rate is a good one.
Oh,
and then
that's quite high, eh?
It is. But that when you think about display ads, right? In the whole digital marketing world, you get terrible click-through rate on a display ad on Google. That's like a banner ad or something like that. I'm not sure what the averages are, but I think they're probably under 1%, those AdSense ads and stuff. But you got to remember, we got the YouTube algorithm here doing a lot of work for us, promoting our best video with the best topic to somebody that would be interested in clicking it. So that's what helps, I think, increase those click-through rates. Plus, you have subscribers. When someone's a subscriber, they're going to get promoted your videos more often than others they're not subscribed to. So there's already an affinity there, right? They know you, they're going to click on it. So anyways, let's go back to watch time. So just to go quickly through this, because I know this is kind of getting long, you want people to stay and watch your videos. So you need to hook them in at the beginning with a hook. You need to deliver your content. And at the end of your video, you have a chance for a call to action. So there's a lot of different opportunities for the call to action. The best one to feed the algorithm is to ask them to watch another video, because that's more watch time, right? So if you're really keeping just the algorithm in mind, your call to action should be to subscribe and to watch more videos. And you can actually create what's called an end card, which is a clickable button on mobile or YouTube. That will be another one of your videos. So that's really it. It's all about your script and keeping them engaged, right? Quick editing. One of the greatest YouTubers that's not really e-commerce related, but everyone knows him as Mr. Beast. And if you just watch one of his videos, it's going to start off like this. In this video, we're giving away $10 million. People are going to have to jump off a cliff into hot lava, and let's go ahead and get into it. And then it's going to be from there, just keep you. And that's one of the greatest. Now, for most people, we're creating talking head videos where we're sitting, giving out value, giving out information, educational stuff. Just keep it in mind that the words that come out of your mouth are important, and they should be concise and also building, right? If you can build a story in there or build value in a step-by-step way, that'll keep people watching.
That's really interesting. Do you have Mr. Beast aside, because that fella, he spent, as far as I understand his story, he spent hours trying to understand what sent videos viral, didn't he? And he did all kinds of experiments to try and figure out what worked. And eventually he's sort of cracked a formula for him. Unfortunately, I can't give away a Lamborghini to go and get video views, but we're different people. But is there an ideal time of a video for YouTube? We put the podcast out. The podcast is going to be an hour, and I appreciate you've got to be properly committed to watch a whole hour of someone talking about a topic, right? So I appreciate that the podcast video will serve a very specific subset of people, right? And not everybody. So I appreciate an hour is going to be more than likely too long. But is there a time frame that I should think about when creating video?
Yeah, I think you should just shoot for 10 minutes. That's normally best practice, is to get your video to be at least 10 minutes. But, the longer videos are going to garner more watch time. So even up to 20 minutes is totally fine. Kind of the theory you're going to hear the most on this is the video should be as long as it should be. If it's a 5-minute video, it should be a 5-minute video. But I would argue that once you get under 5 minutes and you're down the 3-minute, 2-minute, you could actually hurt your channel by just a video having terrible watch time, like a really low watch time, like a 1-minute average view duration. So I would say shoot for 10 minutes. If it needs to be 7 minutes, totally fine. 6 minutes, totally fine. 5 minutes, kind of cutting it close. That's fine. At the end, make a call to action for them to click on another video and use it that way, right? Because it's a shorter video. Hopefully people get to the end. But that, 10 to 20 minutes, you're right on the best practice.
That's really, yeah. So if I'm doing a video, sort of, let's say I've got this sort of 10-minute conversation going on. Do I need to create, you use this phrase, fast moving content? And you give the example of Mr. Beast. I'm selling products online. How do I create fast moving content on a 10-minute video, that's maybe product related?
Yeah. So let's just say it's a talking head video, right? You talking to the camera. First of all, like I said, the words that come out of your mouth are important. You need to be good on camera. You need to just basically be energetic. And as far as that goes, most of the work's going to be done in the edit. So imagine using crop ins. So imagine instead of me just sitting here talking to the camera, there's a crop in for when I'm saying something more specific, a zoom in, full screen title animation. So instead of just like little text flying on the screen, like a quote card that takes up the full screen, see the text. B-roll, using B-roll, right? So I'm talking about, this story when I went surfing, we have B-roll rolling over the top. If you're talking about a product, you got really sharp B-roll. One of our clients that we've had for a really long time, like 4 years now, has a tech channel where he does talking head, and he does incredible B-roll. I mean, he's just standing there talking in front of the camera about this tech, but he's going and panning across, getting these really close shots and some slow motion of whatever, a CD drive opening or something like that. And, I think that does add to his watch time, keeps it engaged.
Where would, I see a lot of sites now where you can go and get stock B-roll. Do you know what I mean? Sort of footage like that. Are they any good? Especially for someone that's starting out, would that work?
Definitely. Yeah, that's always a good look. Story blocks, I think Art Grid or Artlist is another one. But yeah, those are good.
There's a bunch of them, isn't there? And sorry, let me just clarify what you mean by B-roll for those that might not have a clue what you've just said.
Yeah, so B-roll is the footage that would play on top of other footage so that you would only see it and you would not see the footage below it, but you would be able to hear the audio from the footage below it. So we're talking about a talking head, like you're watching, or if you're listening, then I guess just imagine watching a YouTube video of someone talking. And then all of a sudden you're talking about surfing, and what you're seeing on the screen is somebody surfing. Although the words you're hearing is from me in my studio, just talking.
And so the B-roll footage generally ties in with what you're talking about, and you're just sort of given this angle. And once you've seen it, you'll see that this is a trick that news corporations use. Everybody uses it to try and keep the visual interest up, don't they? They're constantly switching between shots and between B-roll to try and keep you engaged and understanding what's going on. Equipment-wise, let's touch on equipment briefly. You mentioned, it doesn't have to be kind of Disney Plus quality, where they're using crazy expensive cameras. And the most amazing thing I find, I have the, what do I got here? The iPhone 13 Pro Max. So this is sort of mine here. The camera on this thing is just unbelievable. And I've got a 4K camera. So that's very high resolution in the back of my pocket. And it's not half bad quality. And you talked about the lady who is doing, the dermatologist, I think it was, who's doing 20 videos a month just using an iPhone. And this is where I find a lot of people are in slight disbelief that actually you can do it with an iPhone. But apart from the dermatologist lady, is she just an outlier, or can it be as simple as your mobile phone is probably going to be good enough?
Yeah, I mean, it is as simple as your phone is good enough. I think in time you will want to upgrade, right? And I think that's a natural process. Like, my advice on that is no matter what, you should start with your iPhone, and then give yourself a goal. say, hey, 100 videos shot on this phone, and I'm going to upgrade and buy myself a DSLR camera, a Canon M6 Mark II. That's my choice. That's the one I use.
Okay.
But you know,
Canon
give yourself,
Mini.
yeah, I like Canons. But you know, like I said, I would always set a goal, because what you want to do from day one when it comes to creating videos is continue to improve, get better, get better, and you never will get to a point where you're good enough. So, I mean, even when your video is incredible and everything, like, how do you get more watch time? You know, there's the never ending quest. You know, so, but yeah, I would say start with your camera phone. Like I said, the next upgrade could be to a DSLR. I think you can get one for like $600. A Canon M50 will do the job for you. I think that's the most affordable one. Get yourself a decent lens.
Great camera. Yeah.
And then audio, right? Don't ever forget about your audio. And even when you're shooting with your phone, an external mic is not a bad idea. What I would recommend is a lavalier lapel mic that you can plug right into your phone, go right into there. You can be however far close you want to be. And if you don't have a microphone and you're using your phone, you just can't be too far away. Otherwise, you're going to kind of have bad audio from the echo. So you kind of hug the camera, unfortunately. Hopefully you're okay with that. But yeah, and be in a room that's not echoey, maybe carpet, some drapes, should be good.
I found myself that actually, I mean, I have a DSLR camera now. We, you know, having done a few videos, we upgraded and I actually moved from Canon to Sony. And I'm on a Sony camera now. But I've found over the years, perhaps the most important thing to a video is bizarrely the audio quality, and that people will tolerate something where the video is not as crisp or is a bit noisy or something, as long as the audio quality is good. But you reverse that, you could have the most crisp, beautiful video, but if the audio is crackly, people really struggle with that. That's my experience. Is that a good rule of thumb?
Yeah, it is. That's a good rule of thumb. I mean, nowadays on YouTube, you got to have both. You got to have the good video with the good audio. And with the iPhone, you can get good video, but you have to have the fundamentals right when it comes to video. Lighting, right? You know, natural light is always great. If you don't have like a light set or a ring light, you know, everyone should have a ring light. I feel like these days with all the Zoom meetings and all that kind of stuff, at minimum, throw up a ring light. But that's really about it. You know, it's not too complicated. Just good audio with some with an external mic and then good lighting.
Yeah, no, very good. So you can actually get started. You can get going on YouTube and you can do your first 10, 15 videos that are going to be rubbish with an iPhone and a simple mic, just to test it out. I guess one of the questions that people have then is going to be, well, okay, I've got the phone, I can get a mic, they're like $20 off Amazon. I can sit by my window and I'm going to look in this camera. What do I say? Where do I start? What ideas have you got for people on a good place to start?
Yeah, so we're trying to create content for people, right? A certain person. So if this is for e-commerce, then who's your customer, right? What's the avatar? You know, what's their demographics? You should know that if you're in e-commerce. And then you can start thinking about what their problems are, what their fears are, what their desires are. And if you can figure out what their desires are, what they want to achieve, then you can create content helping them achieve that. So then you're thinking, okay, I kind of know. Let's just go back to the surfing example. I never even use surfers. I don't know why, but I don't know why I'm thinking that today. This might be a struggle. But what are they going to look up on YouTube, right? How to clean my wetsuit. All right, there we go. So you're a surf brand. You're in the surf industry. You're going to make a tutorial on how to clean your wetsuit. And that's going to be one of your video topics. And then when it comes to scripting it, it's hook them in. Okay. Create curiosity, create an open loop, which means, you know, something like, you know, at the end of this video, you're going to get to discover, we're talking about wetsuits. You're going to get to discover by the end of this video, you're going to get to discover how to perfectly clean your wetsuit. But be careful, because if you make a mistake and you use this one ingredient, it's going to totally ruin your wetsuit and leave you with a rash. There's a hook. I got you. I created an open loop. I figured out a way for them to want to find out that tip about that mistake that you could make. And there's my hook. And then then it just comes down to bullet points. All right. So now I need to come up with my 3 bullet points. Boom, boom, boom. If I want to write a couple sub bullet points, maybe 1 or 2, boom, boom, little subtopics, and then that's it. That's my script. At the very end, I'll have a call to action for something, and we're talking about e-commerce here. So maybe I would go and build my email list. When I got started and created a basketball training brand, I sold courses. I sold how to shoot a better jump shot, how to improve your dribbling. And at the end of my videos, I gave away a free downloadable video in PDF. That was a complete workout. That's where I sent people at the end of all my videos. I said, hey, if you want to improve your shooting, ball handling, I got a complete workout for you. Click the link in the description or the link you see on the screen right now. Head over there, enter your email, and I will send you that workout. And then I would sell my digital products and my physical products. And so that's my call to action. And now I have a little bit of a traffic source, sending people to my offer.
Mm-hmm. So I've got my title, I've got my hook, I've got the content, my 3 bullet points, and I've got my call to action at the end. And I like what you did there, because actually your video is about how to clean a wetsuit, not necessarily come buy my wetsuit or surfboard. You're actually being helpful as well as being salesy, which is a general rule of content marketing, isn't it? Just be helpful, answer customer questions.
Value.
One of the things that we've found over the years, a great source of content for your videos is just to look at the emails you get in your customer service and just see the questions that they have and just answer them on video. It's seems pretty straightforward to me, and it actually works quite well. And whether you do that on YouTube or Instagram stories or however you do it, actually that's a really good question. YouTube is historically landscape, isn't it? In terms of its orientation, it's widescreen, it's a cinematic kind of look. And what we've seen over the last year or two is a growth in vertical format videos. So we've got TikTok, we've got Instagram Reels, and we've even got YouTube Shorts now, which I find quite fascinating. So any thoughts on sort of the shift and anything that I should think about with the new trend in vertical video?
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different type of content. Like especially if you think of like TikTok and Reels, it's like music playing. It's more user generated, I would say, type content. But it's definitely something that you should be doing. And the easiest way to do it is to repurpose your other content, right? So you have a video podcast. Just take that best snippet, that best one-liner that you have, and turn it into a reel. Or if it's a YouTube video, you could do the same thing. And, that's a pretty common practice and a best practice, I would say, as well, is to repurpose your long form content into short form content. And then when it comes to creating short form content yourself, that's definitely just user generated with the phone. I think that's totally how it should be. Some people do record them vertical videos with DSLRs and stuff by turning them sideways. But I think there's definitely an opportunity for people to create short form content, vertical form content, just using their phone.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot, and it's very easy, isn't it? It's very authentic. Here's one of the things that we've been playing around with here actually is, we have our podcast, and the podcast, like I say, is about an hour long. And so we've been taking now, or in the process of taking segments from past podcasts. So you're talking about repurposing content. So we take this interview, for example. There's probably 4 or 5 segments which are going to be around the sort of the 7 to 10 minute long mark that I can extract out of this podcast and create as a separate video. For example, I might do a video on YouTube going, what do you think about, I need a much better title and hook, Augie, but do you know what I mean? We could do a thing on vertical video format. Should I use it? Yes or no? Will it change my life? And we just extract this part of the conversation and just show that. That's in my head when you say repurposing content. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I can take this and I can slice it up into 10 minutes, and then I can take the 10 minutes and slice them up maybe into 4 or 5 little 1-minute videos that I can put over here. If I take, say, a 7 to 10 minute video from my hour-long video, I'm repurposing that content. Does YouTube penalize me in the sense that it's going, well, hang on a minute, that's just a copy of that bit over there? or does it actually like it when I repurpose content?
So that's a good strategy to use. As far as YouTube liking or disliking it, I would say they don't penalize that. They don't penalize that because I can think of many examples of podcasts that do that, and those smaller channels grow at the exact same rate. People love them, and what they actually do is they have a second channel for those short form videos. So the first one that comes to mind is Logan Paul, who's just a YouTube content creator, has a show called Impulsive, which is a podcast, and they have a second channel called Impulsive Clips where they do that, and they upload those to a second channel. Now, there's another podcast that I follow on YouTube, and they create those clips, and they actually upload them to the exact same YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I think either way is a great strategy, and definitely something that me as a user, I will maybe listen to an entire podcast on my podcast app, or maybe if it's on YouTube, it's an hour long, but it's just playing in the background. I'm not watching it. That's normally how it goes for me on when it comes to podcasts. I'll listen to them on YouTube. I'm not watching. But then at night, YouTube will recommend me those clips, or I don't know how I guess they must recommend them to me, and I will click them, and it'll be, I remember this part. I really like this part, and I will watch them at that point, like literally watch them in front of me. So just as a user, I can verify like that's a good strategy, and definitely one that I would recommend. Yeah.
It's really, I think it's really powerful. Especially, I mean, we've done it with our e-commerce businesses, a lot of live streams where we get good audience participation and we're answering questions, and then you can repurpose that. Each question becomes like a 5 to 10 minute video, which you can then repurpose out. And I think it just saves a lot of aggravation in terms of having to think of all the different content that you need to create. What do you think about, I don't know if it's still growing as strong. We're talking about personal brand earlier. I've seen a bunch of people try the whole vlogging thing. It's like, I'm going to grow my personal brand by vlogging, which is basically where you walk around with a camera in front of your face, recording your day-to-day and somehow edit that down. Any thoughts on vlogging?
Yeah, vlogging is a great type of content to create. I would say if you're going to vlog, then you need to kind of make sure kind of what you're going to say and what you're going to do. Otherwise, it just becomes just nonsense. But if you like every day can say, hey, the message of today is this, I'll shoot it in a vlog format where I'm kind of doing a day in the life. But this whole time I'm giving out value and letting, insightful information. I have something to say. Then I think it's a great way to grow an audience. Not your typical e-commerce style. Normally our e-commerce style is, talking head in a studio, using B-roll and all that kind of stuff. Vlogging is it's more of a creative part of YouTube, I would say. And you got guys like Gary V, who are out there vlogging a lot, but he's got like a camera guy, following him around and stuff. He's not, that's totally hands off for him. But yeah, it's a great type of content.
It's a really interesting type of content. I think if you want to build the brand of like the MD or the CEO, or you're trying to build the brand of your company, and you're trying to be all kind of backstage pass, all access type thing. I think but I just wonder if my experience with vlogging is it takes a lot of resource to do it well. The editing is unbelievable. I mean, the amount of time you spend trying to edit those videos is quite extraordinary, I think, to keep it fast paced and interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree. At Vidchops, we edit tons of YouTube content. Vlogs are the challenging ones.
Yeah, really challenging. What do you sort of surveying YouTube 2022? What do you see as some of the common mistakes that people make that we should avoid at all cost?
Yeah, sometimes people will create channels and they don't niche down, right? So they're jumping from topic to topic. One day they're talking about it's a channel for skateboarders and they're giving tutorials, and the next week they're not really interested in skateboarding, so now they're talking about anime or I don't know, something different, but yet they're trying to promote a business and they're doing this for a business, yet all you're getting is just kind of off topic content. That's normally a big mistake. You want to kind of stay on topic. And then, the biggest mistake is just consistency. And that comes from either people being a perfectionist and not wanting to put stuff out because it takes too much work. And no, like we said earlier, you just got to get it out. You just got to press that record button. You got to say what's on your mind. It's not going to be great, but you got to get it out and stay consistent and publish. So, the consistency thing, you really got to have a why. You really have to, like, if you're just going to say, hey, I'm going to create a YouTube channel to promote my business, it's not enough. You're not, you will burn out. You will stop recording videos. If you say, I'm going to create a YouTube channel that helps players improve at basketball, because when I was in 7th grade, I got cut from the team. I asked some coaches for help. No one would help me. It ruined my chances. If only there was a resource, a YouTube channel back then that I could have went to and watched videos and learned from somebody that actually knew what they were talking about, then you can, then I would have made it. And so there's my why, with the basketball stuff. There's some times where I was like, I don't really want to record. And then, you look through the comments and you say, oh, look, someone realized that I didn't upload this week. And there's that community aspect of it, and if you find your why and you incorporate that into the message, that you're of what your goal is with the channel, then it should help you with, staying motivated and consistent.
The consistency thing's a big deal, isn't it? The understanding that when you start something on YouTube or Instagram or, whatever your chosen platform is, the key, it seems, apart from having content that's actually interesting, is to put the content out there day in, day out, or whatever your schedule is, whether it's every week or whether it's every 2 weeks or whether it's every month or whatever it is. But somehow you've got to create a mechanism, a system to consistently hit that timetable. Just bam, 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 get it out. And I don't know if there's like a magic time frame, Augie. What I can tell you is, from my experience, after about 18 months of being consistent and without any kind of clever, advertising spend on my channel, just from organic stuff, after about sort of 12 to 18 months, we start to see a sort of significant shift in, numbers on the views. But it takes a while to get that. It's not like I'm going to start a YouTube channel today and unless I'm an outlier and get 10,000 views tomorrow. And I think people can find that a little disheartening, if I'm honest with you. And so therefore stop the consistency. Do you see what I mean? Is that just me, or is that a common thing? Is that something that we should be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, it is common that people get disheartened, but I think those are the people that don't know what you just said to be true. If you do know that, if you do understand that it's a long game, not a short game, and that it's going to take you many months or many years, right, to make it, then you shouldn't be disappointed, because the benefits of what YouTube can offer you is incredible. I mean, you literally can become a millionaire by starting to release videos on YouTube if you know what you're doing. So, I mean, the upside is there, but people that think it's going to happen overnight, then yeah, they're going to get discouraged and call it quits. People that understand it's going to take years and that you have to continually improve and get better, they'll make it. So many people make it who just stick with it, and making it, it's not becoming a multi-millionaire YouTube, but it's becoming somebody in the industry, right? Like with my basketball training channel, I was a nobody. I played in Europe. I played a little bit at a small college, but I was in the basketball training world. I was a nobody. But all of a sudden now I had people knocking on my door asking me to, hey, can you come run a camp in Vegas for us? Yeah, I did that. And it was because of my YouTube channel. I went and ran a basketball camp in Vegas. Can you, I was flown out to Singapore to train some athletes out there just through the YouTube stuff. And I became a little bit of an authority. I had my 15 minutes of fame where I felt like, hey, I could pursue a career as a basketball trainer, as a world-renowned basketball trainer, if I really would have went after that. Now, I didn't go after that because what did I go after? Well, I do, like I said, enjoy this digital marketing, this online business, e-commerce world. I love it. I obsess over it. I became obsessed. And that's the path I chose to take. And I'm still able to keep basketball in my life as a varsity basketball coach. But I did not go for that trainer route, although YouTube put me in a position where I had the opportunity to actually go for that.
That's fascinating. Very encouraging. So if you are new to the world of e-commerce or new to the world of using YouTube in e-commerce, it's something that you should definitely look at. But bear in mind, it is a bit of a long game. You don't need lots of equipment, but you do need consistency, and you need to create content out there that is going to capture people's imagination. You might not know what that is on day one, and that's fine. You just need to be consistent and figure it out and adapt as you go along. And if you do, even in 2022, the rewards are there for the making, and you can enjoy those. And when you become the YouTube millionaire, just send Augie and myself a beer to say thanks. We'd appreciate it. I think that's probably a fair exchange myself. Augie, listen, thank you so much for your time. If people want to connect with you, if they want to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, if you want to connect with me on a personal level, just reach out to me on Instagram at Augie Johnston. And if you want to check out our video editing service, you can check that out at vidchops.com.
And when you say your video editing service, what do you mean? What does vidchops.com do?
Yeah, so we are a flat rate video editing service designed to kind of take the burden of editing totally off the hands of any content creator or YouTuber in general.
So, and this is quite useful, I think, for a lot of people. Basically, they just send you the video which they've shot, you edit it, and then send it back to them, or just upload it straight to YouTube on their behalf, I guess.
Yeah, either or. Yeah, they upload their footage, we'll edit it, send it back to them in about 2 days, and they can upload it right to YouTube, or we can do it too.
It is a fascinating business model you've chosen, because I think if you are new to the world of YouTube, one of the things that you will very quickly learn is that video editing becomes the bane of your life, right? It's just like shooting the video is one thing. Once you've got through that, editing the video is a whole new world of pain, and actually can take longer than shooting the video. I shot a video earlier on, 9-minute video. It's taken 2 hours to edit it. And we know what we're doing, right? So there's a lot of time involved. So it's a really fascinating thing that you've got going there. So if you do need help with editing videos, do reach out to Augie at vidchops.com. We will, of course, link to Augie's both Instagram and to his website in the show notes. But from me, Augie, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your expertise with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was fun.
Well, a big thanks to my very special guest, Augie. What did you think? I would love to know. If you enjoyed the show, write a review. Tell us what you thought about it, or go onto the website and let us know. It'll be great to hear about it, because I do think Augie is right. This YouTube thing is not going away, and it is a big deal for us e-commerce entrepreneurs. And so I hope you got lots of notes. But of course, if you didn't, you can head on over to the website, ecommercepodcast.net/95, where you can get all of the links, notes, and transcripts from today's show. And if that's not enough for you, if you want more, and why would you not want more, you'll be pleased to know we have got a phenomenal guest next week, Shanif, who is going to be talking to us about why you should be using AI in your e-commerce business. AI. Oh, yes. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? So, as always, here's an excerpt from next week's show.
Being able to predict what your customers are going to do next makes it a lot easier for you to create a campaign that's going to speak to them. So when it comes to predictive analytics, if you know what maybe a customer is going to buy next, or if you know that a customer is likely to never come back unless you give them a discount code or you give them an offer, then you can tailor your messaging a little bit more appropriately. And so that's why we focus on this particular area of AI. It helps our brands and our customers grow more sales by personalizing their marketing.
I am, as always, looking forward to that show. He is such a cool dude. You're definitely not going to want to miss it. Great guy, great conversation, super, super helpful. So, as I said, if you've enjoyed this podcast, I'd appreciate it if you give us a rating on iTunes or wherever it is you get your podcast from. I know 70% of our listeners listening to the show using Apple Podcasts, so which means 30% don't. So if you're not using the iTunes system, fair play to you. Wherever you get it from, just give us a review. We would love it, as it helps us grow the podcast and connect with more people around the world, share more tips, bring great content. It's a win-win scenario. as we like to say. And so, as I said, one more time, all of the notes, links, and transcripts for today's show are available online. You can get them for free, no email required or any of that sort of nonsense. Just head on over to ecommercepodcast.net/95. All that's left for me to say is thank you so much for listening. Make sure you come back next time as we are going to be having a great conversation about AI. You're not going to want to miss it, and you're going to want to keep listening to grow your own e-commerce businesses and, deliver your own e-commerce wow.
You've been listening to the eCommerce Podcast with Matt Edmondson. Join us next time for more interviews, tips, and tools for building your business online.